In a far realm of Neverwinter, there was a mighty cleric being created with the DNA from a legendary master known today as M37. The cleric awoke on a beach, thousands of miles from the lab of her creator. The cleric had no knowledge of a past life. The only knowledge she had was that she awakened from unconsciousness. The first sense of the five used was hearing. A voice in the deepest recess of subconscious spoke to her. With a deep resonant voice, a feeling of divinity rushed through the nervous system, leaving behind a sensation that fire and ice was rushing through her veins. The goddess Okama, lord of knowledge and thought, had laid claim to her. There was a lot of unanswered questions to solve. The sound of a man's voice leaning over her caused the cleric to slowly open her eyes. The man was poorly outfitted and yet offered his hand to help the cleric. He asked her name. She looked baffled and could only answer with the words she saw in her mind's eye. M37 Gaming. What a strange name, he replied. With a look of disdain she asks, what do they call you? Private Wilfred, he answered with a smile. He lowered his hand and said, come with me. I will help you to the city protector's enclave, but many dangers will have to be faced along the way. Dangers, you say? Then I shall take a few days to build my strength up and collect my thoughts. One must be prepared physically and psychologically for battles. I shall train quickly and exercise vehemently for what may come. Yourself should be behooved to do the same. I cannot join you in your regimen right now. I have to run early in the morning, before my brain can figure out what I'm doing. That's the soonest I can begin. You really shouldn't listen to your inner lack of willpower. It's evil. Wilfred, you will not be prepared. Stick with the people who pull the magic out of you and not the madness. Have you forgotten the face of your father? By Okama, it would take me years, not days, to psychologically prepare you. When I was in service and the sergeant made us exercise, the guys would hear sniffling and thought I was crying. It wasn't me, you see, sweat is just fat crying. By Okama, enough of this, Wilfred, let me at the least be prepared. I shall start with jumping jacks.
Exercise! I'm gonna have to stretch first. I must have slept really hard.
Wilfred, it's been 3 days to pass now. We must move on. It matters not the mesmerizing beauty of this place. Life cannot be sustained on eating fish alone. Yes, M37, I know this. But can't we just wait a couple more days? Perhaps the dangers will be thinner by then. Dis, you think of the possibility that the dangers may be thicker in that time span as well. Valid point taken, M37. Very well, then let's begin our travels. On the way to Protector's Enclave the battles were many. Once Wilfred and M37 crossed the fields, they came to the crossing of a bridge. On this bridge a detrimental battle was taken on against Valendra's Shadow Mantle and her Minons. Valendra is an evil elven wizard who turned into a lich. She is the main force behind the massive attack on the city of Neverwinter. During her former life, Valendra was an overwizard of the Host Tower of the Arcane and master of the North Tower, responsible for the Brotherhood's operations in the northern quadrant of Faerun. Valendra never felt the same respect for community that other moon elves shared. She grew into a self-absorbed individual who cared little for anything that wasn't connected to her own interests or goals. Valendra prided herself on her intellect and would rather talk her way out of a fight than blast an opponent with magic. That said, she wouldn't hesitate to kill or maim an enemy if the situation demanded it. She was not going to let anyone pass that bridge. Wilfred knew that Valendra stood a little ahead of them. He was not going to let her have a chance to confront M37. Wilfred rushed ahead in battle. He had underestimated the magic Valendra wielded. Immediately he was grabbed by an unseen force of magic that lifted him into the air and crushed his body. As Wilfred lay dying, M37 tried with all the power she was in control of to save him, but it was futile. Wilfred took his last breath and M37 let out a battle cry. Valandria left the battle to attend what she felt was a more important need. She also felt that the death of such a weak creature could be carried out by one of her stronger minions. She in turn underestimated M37. The giant creature was no match for M37 and the revenge she wanted to take out on Valandra. That wanting of revenge would have to wait for another time.